Hey guys, so I thought I'd make a little video. This is my 99 Subaru Forester. It is the L series all-wheel drive. I just barely got it running again after a 6-month issue that I was troubleshooting for what felt like forever. This is a quick little around the car, and then I'll show you inside and I'll tell you about that issue a little bit that I had to deal with. So let's start in the back. So as I said, this is the Subaru L all-wheel drive. I've installed a U-Haul hitch on it, and yes, I have hauled a trailer with this. It was my very first time hauling a trailer, and I believe it went very well. It was scary at first, but once I got on the road, it was pretty nice. I hauled U-Haul's smallest trailer. I don't know if this can do any more than that. Inside, we've got the rear hatch here. Got a couple sets of tools in here. 2 sets of sockets. This one I got from Amazon. It has both Imperial and metric, and this one I got from Napa, and it has just Imperial. And honestly, this thing sucks. That's why I bought the one from Amazon. A little bit of extra refrigerant and a funnel. Never know when you need those, especially the funnel. This is my pickle jar, which has all my fluids in it. I thought this was pretty smart. I got this from an old place I used to work at. I can get the damn thing open with one hand. There we go. It's got my extra engine oil, some 2 things of transmission fluid, and a pretty much full container of coolant. It just barely fits all that. I wish I could put my funnel in there, but the funnel is just slightly too long. Anyway, that keeps it from all spilling out, and I can keep that in there. My father-in-law got us this battery booster, which probably needs to be charged soon. My parents picked us up a weather shield for winter time, and we picked this one up at Hot Topic. So we haven't really used it too much. Honestly, I don't really believe in these things, but my wife loved this thing. She had to get it. So we have it. And last winter, I did end up throwing both of these on and put this one on the inside, and I threw that on the outside. And it really helped with all that snow here in Minnesota, where I am now. I know my plates say Wyoming, if you caught that, but I'm not in Wyoming right now. Just haven't switched over the plates. Here's the full-size spare tire. The plastic thing underneath it. There you go, Firestone. And then my cross, which I have an extra. I don't know why I need 2, but that'll probably get downsized later. In this compartment, slide over my pickle jar. Over here is extra tools, my actual one that I like for changing tires. There's a scissor jack. For some reason, I just found out this a minute ago when I was cleaning. I have a 98 and a 99 manual, which the 99 is for this car, but I don't know where the 98 came from. And then on this side, I've got extra fuel filter, some bulb grease, and a bunch of tools. What's weird is they had a cigarette lighter in the back and one in the front. For whatever reason, my current one in the front does not work, so I'm going to be redoing or fixing that one, replacing it with a USB one, and probably replacing this one when I do it. If I need to run new wiring, I might have to. And in this little cubby, I've got my spare USB cables. I need to get one for iPhone, and then I'm good. Oh, and I've got this thing. Picked this up at a gas station a few years back. It's a 100-watt power inverter. Just plugs right in. When the engine's on, it lights up, and then you can use a regular power, USB-C, and USB. My wife uses it to charge her Nintendo Switch when we're on the road, but we just recently got a cable for that that's designed for that. I just haven't used it yet. And then we come around the side. Here's our back seat. Sorry, the car's a little dirty. I haven't really had a chance to take it to a vacuum. That's my next thing. I have a jack in here that I need to give back to my father-in-law. I used it whenever I had a different car. Missing a panel here. I need to get that replaced. I thought I had pouches on the seats, but you know, being away from your car for 6 months can really do that. Make you think things. When we come in here, you got your auto windows. This model did not have power seats. Or not power seats. Well, I didn't have that either. But I didn't have heated seats. So instead we got the little empty cubby here. It's an automatic, as you can see. Got this cubby here, and this rather useless thing here. Like, what the hell is this for? Don't tell me it's for a cup, because I've tried and it sucks. This model has cruise control, automatic mirrors. It does not have heated mirrors. They have these little useless cubbies here. Subaru loves putting in tiny cubbies that no one can do anything with. I need to replace all the weather stripping. No mirror for the driver's side. It's got a pen holder, 2 card holders. It's got your holder for your sunglasses. Compass, which I think that's all it is a compass. Let's see. No, it's a clock. I think it's just a clock, actually. It's not even a compass, so I was wrong. This side, I believe, has a... No, it doesn't have a mirror either, so you don't get to look at yourself. That's fine. Who wants to do that anyway? Let's see. So, it's got this cubby here. This one's actually kind of useful. Here we can put a pin in the pen holder. I have plenty of those. There we go. Pin. And then we have a few other pins in here. I need to replace these. They're all decrepit and not really functioning too well. This one's missing the thing. This one doesn't work anyway. Here's where your hazards and defrost and cup holder are. This cup holder is crap. Whenever you have a cup in here, it covers this vent. So, you know, good job, Subaru. You put a cup holder in. You could have put it on top. Get your AC control, climate controls, aftermarket radio that needs to be replaced. Some weather damage caused it to not really function too great. I've got my auxiliary cable in this cubby, an extra cubby here. If you take this cubby out, you have a doubled-in radio spot. Got your glove box for your CDs and gloves. Actually, I have gloves in here for once. They gave you a tiny coin thing. Here's your e-brake. Like I said, it's an automatic. This is what you're looking at for your instrument cluster. Let's pop a key in. See if it starts. It does. Don't worry about that, because for a while, it's been kind of it's been temperamental. And next, we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about what happened to this car and what I believe fixed it and what was replaced during all that and where we are now. So, I'll give you a quick look around the engine bay and then we'll discuss that part. So, come down here. Oh yeah, there's also a little cubby here for no reason, but if you pop this out, the fuse box is right behind it. Kind of a weird design. Then it tells you on the back what all your fuses are for. I should probably check all my fuses again now that I've gotten this sucker running. But that's for later. So, let's come around to the engine bay while this thing's running. Hang on. Alright, here's our engine bay. Give you a quick little pan over. Alright, I'll turn it off and I'll discuss what happened. Alright, so last year, this last summer, we took a trip down to Wisconsin and we went to Rockfest. It was great, and then on our way back, we skipped the main big town on our way into Minnesota, and we stopped at this gas station that looked like it hadn't really been ran in forever. There was no attendance. It was just like a self-serve. They upgraded really, really old pumps from like the 1970s to credit card readers. So I thought, okay, well, if it's been upgraded, I can toss like $6 of gas in there and I can finish off the rest of the road trip, head home. Thought nothing of it. Getting into town, it started losing power. And I don't know if it was due to getting bad gas or if it was a combination of that and other things. So I actually need to come around the back. So what I forgot to mention earlier when I was showing the back of this is right here. This is a panel. When you open this up, on this side, on the passenger side, is your fuel pump. I won't take that out now, but I just wanted to point that out. That's where it was. So when we first got this car, my brother-in-law put in a new fuel pump. The kid that owned it before us, he tried to put in a fuel pump and it was backward when he put it in. And then he was like, well, I haven't gotten this thing to start in forever. He tried doing an engine tune-up, and he ended up causing a lot of harm to the car, and my brother-in-law Charles had to basically rebuild parts of the car. So once we got it all squared away and going, he ended up having to put in a piece of fuel line that was ever so slightly kinked, which he assured me was no problem, and it probably wasn't a big deal, but I think it caused that fuel pump to run weaker and more strain was put on it. So, getting back to present day, I didn't think much of it. I thought, well, I've got a new fuel pump, so it can't be that. So, the next thing I did was I replaced the air filter. Now, if anyone has owned a 99 to like a 2003 or 4, I think, they'll know that sometimes, for whatever reason, I should have said 98 to up. For whatever reason, Subaru decided we want 2 air filters. Why? Some models got 2. Some models got 1 here and nothing in that one. Some models got 1 in there and nothing in here. Subaru, make up your mind. So I got a model with both. Now, everyone online says this one doesn't get dirty, so don't worry about replacing it. Well, this one has a ring around the throttle body spot that is like a little dirty. I still want to replace it or empty it out at some point and seal the box, because some later models ended up just getting a sealed box. Why didn't they just take the box off? Anyway, this air filter was just caked with crud, and I had forgotten to replace it after 1,000 miles or so. So I replaced it. Car started. That's cool. Next day, car didn't start. So I'm like, well, that didn't fix it. And then So keep in mind, I don't have auto parts stores, and the only one I had was Napa, where I bought the most expensive socket set ever that had almost none of the stuff I needed, which was great. I wasted money. But I bought the spark plugs and stuff there. But so once I replaced this, I went and replaced the fuel filter. So because everyone says, well, if it's not your air filter, it's going to be your fuel filter because you haven't replaced that since you got the car. So okay, so I replaced it. Didn't do nothing. It didn't fix anything. So the next step was, well, they said, oh, well, then it's going to be your spark plugs, your spark plug wires, or your ignition coil, because this car only has one and it's on top, or all of them at once. So I was like, well, we might as well replace them all at this point. So the first thing we did was we replaced those plugs and wires, and it didn't do anything. I'm like, well, great. So it must be the ignition coil, right? That's got to be it. So I bought one. And then the seller sent me one with the wrong plug here, electrical plug. I needed a 4-pin. I got a 3-pin. And you think, well, you should just be able to plug it in. Well, no, because the spacing's different. So I had to wait and buy another one. And keep in mind, I'm waiting because I'm buying all this stuff online on eBay and Amazon. And it takes 2 weeks to get a paycheck and then 2 weeks basically to get something in the mail. 1 to 2 weeks. So, okay, bought another one. I put it on. I got a little excited at this point because I'm like, well, it's got to be this. So I put it on. Nothing. Didn't do anything. So at this point, I'm rather frustrated. And I ended up, let's see, what did I do next? So one of my friends, a mechanic, told me, well, it's probably going to be your, what is? My brain isn't working anymore. Your injectors. It's got to be your injectors. So I looked up first I looked up to replace them, and I was like, well, this is going to cost like $400, and I can't afford that. So then I looked up how to clean them, and I bought a cleaning kit for like $11 off Amazon, and I went to go clean them, and I lost a plastic clip that went on the end of one. So I'm like, well, great. So I look up a kit online to get that plastic clip. Well, guess what? You can't get that plastic clip. That plastic clip is never included in any kits. It's actually meant to stay on there, and it's meant not to come off. So I went on Amazon, and I looked at reviews to get new injectors, and I found sets all over Amazon that were like $20 for like 6 of them. And I'm like, awesome. And then I look at the reviews, and they're like terrible. Every single listing is terrible reviews. So then I thought, well, I need to get new O-rings anyway. So I'll just buy them, and I'll take off the clips, and I'll take off all the O-rings and every other plastic thing that I need, and I'll just swap them all out. And that worked. But once again, I had to wait another week to get them all in. So I got it all in, and I cleaned the injectors, and I put it all in the car, and then it didn't start. So I took out this air filter, and I primed and primed and primed and primed the car, killed the battery, primed the car again once I charged it, and it started without this filter. Even though, oh, and I also replaced the mass airflow sensor because I was informed by a friend when I cleaned it that you're not supposed to touch parts of it, and I touched it. So he said it's basically ruined. Don't even try, just replace it. So I replaced it. Anyway, forgot about that because I replaced that early on too, and then thought nothing of it. So I replaced that, put my injectors back in, and I did all this at the same time. I put that in, the injectors, took out this air filter, car started. Awesome. Next day, didn't start. And I felt pretty defeated. So I went out there in the dark, and I went out to that fuel pump because I had an extra. Because when we first got this car, I bought one online, and then Charles learned that the kid installed it backward. So he flipped it around, and it was fine. And I just had an extra pump just chilling in the back, and in the very beginning I thought, well, it's gotta be fine because he just put it in backward. It's fine. It's a brand new pump basically. Well, I was so frustrated that I went back there and I grabbed that pump assembly kit, and it had a long extra piece of fuel line that I think was supposed to go inside, but the previous one didn't have one either. So I thought, well, I'm gonna redo the hose for the fuel line. And I did. And I put the whole new assembly in, and I primed the car, and it started fine. And since then, it started fine until yesterday. Yesterday, I think this was loose because I never tightened it back. So I tightened it back because it was leaking fuel down to here, and I think it just lost pressure. So I fixed that, and it started. And it was fine. And today, I'm out here, I cleaned the car, I tested it and tested it and tested it, and it works fine. And I'm just hoping that this is the end of that. Oh yeah, almost forgot. I ended up, once I got all that working, and it was working fine, I took a ride with my wife around town. And as you can see, I have these red JDM hoses, which I don't care what brand they are. I heard the whole thing about the JDM peoples. But as I was going around town, because I had replaced my radiator before Rockfest, I learned that this ended up popping down on Main Street. So I waited another week, and I got hoses. I put the hoses on, and then I was let up till yesterday, where everything was fine until then. Now that I've explained in a terrible way, because I keep backtracking because my memory sucks, but now that I've explained all that, this car works, and I really hope it stays working. And now I can discuss the future of the car. Hello. So now that it works, we've got a slew of upgrades for it written down on paper in the house. And I'm just hoping, praying that it stays working. So hopefully you'll see videos soon on little upgrades. Thank you for listening.